Hello, my loves. Good morning. How are you? Well, it's morning for me. Goodness knows when you're watching this. I realised I haven't done a little video for a hot minute, and I just made a cup of coffee, and I just felt like sitting down and having a chat, to be honest. So, what's been going on? All sorts of things have been happening in my world. Um, Synchronicities that are presenting themselves in my reality right now are unmatched. Cannot even begin to explain. Like, I'm currently doing some training. I'm working on becoming a coach, which I'm really excited about. And the training modules that I'm doing in my coach's training are lining up with books that I started reading months ago. And then the themes in the books that I'm reading are in the same kind of realm as where I'm at in my training. And just picking that back up again, having not read the book for months, and then suddenly I'm on the same page as the coursework is really, really strange. But also not strange, if that makes sense. I'm just like, oh, yes, further confirmation. Love it. Amazing. But then also, I just ASMR swallowing my coffee in the microphone. I should move the microphone away from my mouth. I also have a hot water bottle because it's still kind of chilly here in the UK. We're getting there. Um, what else has been happening? Um, the energy shift that I am noticing in my circle is bonkers. And just the conversations that I'm having with people, it it's so beautiful because I'm having conversations with people that I've known for a really, really long time, and yet these conversations are brand new, or they are at a completely like other level, other frequency. And it's not just me who's experiencing this. We are talking about a collective consciousness up leveling where people are so tapped into themselves and their nervous systems and things that perhaps don't serve them anymore or that have been holding them back for quite some time. There's a cat in here, by the way, so and just how like I'm having conversations with people about how they're tapping back into what creatively lights them up and how it eases and flows in their life rather than feeling like an obligation to just do. It's like, no, I want to do this because this feels good, not because someone told me I have to do this. And it's so wonderful to just be in that energy of people flowing through life in their creative process. And I keep hearing, people talking about being a lighthouse or a light, and even just so much as some of the readings that I've been doing when I do my tarot readings. So, when I read tarot, I channel the message and I use the cards as a kind of like guidance for my messaging and the message that I'm delivering. And it's just purely a channeled message. And I literally watched a video the other day of this person who is really, really big in the sphere of channeling messages. And I've never seen this person's content in my life. And I'm watching them speaking about the energy. And I'm like, this is what I've been saying in my tarot readings. And it's bonkers because, when I do my tarot readings, I don't remember what I say until I watch the video back and I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense, like what and I'm not tapped into what I'm saying right there and then, and it comes through me, and then I watch the video back and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. And I've been talking a lot about planting roots and growing roots and, you know, doing the like building foundations and roots now so that you can flourish. And there's this time of like flourishing that is coming. And what's wild to me is that I've had no external input for that when I've done those readings, and yet there are so many other people who are saying the same thing, which is bonkers. I think there's a cat trying to leave my office. Hang on. Let me let him out. One moment. Would you like to leave? Come on then. Off you go, babes. There we go. Where was I? And I think this is what is just so magical about this time that we're in currently, is that yes, there is a lot of icky, sticky nastiness, put it lightly, going on. But it's up to us now to decide whether we are going to feed it, feed the fear, or are we going to feed love? And this is what I think is so beautiful, is to we can acknowledge what is going on, but to acknowledge it and then not continue to work on ourselves, be better for ourselves, help others, is to by proxy like feed the fear, if that makes sense. And that's where I feel like it's now is the time to hold that energy of love and hold that energy of doing things for you to make you a better person, to light you up, to come from a place of pure like love and joy and heartfelt energy, so that the fear can be squashed and we can hold this energy, hold this frequency, especially for those who perhaps haven't got the capacity to hold it right now. And again, what's wild is it's like, I think about all the times in my life where I've felt into this energy and known that that's right in my whole being and bones. And then to see where it's not, where I've been kept in fear and I feel small, I feel caged, and I feel like I can't do anything. And then to operate from a place of love feels like there's no limit, there's no bounds. It's like, how much love can I spread with joy and happiness and being creative and just existing as me? There's endless, like that requires no energy when it comes from pure self-love and abundance, gratitude, joy. Like, I'll never get tired of that energy. you know I just think this is just super, super interesting. I was doing a meditation. I meditate most days, to be fair, which again is one of those things that is the resounding feedback at the moment, is to adopt a meditation practice and to bring into that inner sanctuary, inner peace. And I've been practicing meditation for a while, unconsciously, like not realizing that then again, like a lot of these people who have bigger platforms than I do are also sharing this kind of wisdom of adopting a meditation practice. And the other day I did a meditation practice that talks about heart brain coherence, which is really fascinating. And it's a multi-level experience that I had, because it's trusting in the process of actually like what comes through for you during meditation, and to not question it with logic and query it from like that place. But I was doing this meditation and I was like, nothing's going to come through. Like, I was really skeptical. And then literally, I could, like, I was in the energy and I could see my ego like flapping and waving its arms around, like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. And I was like, no, 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 no. What's underneath? And just this tiny little voice just said, keep going, speak. And what was the third word? I wrote it down. What was the third word? Trust. And I keep getting that resounding like feedback of keep going, keep going, keep going. And the word speak for me is very significant, because I love to talk, in case you couldn't tell. Um, and to then have that come through without any kind of rhyme or reason other than just to keep speaking, keep speaking. And that felt right. And to trust, trust in the keep going, keep trusting, keep speaking. Because for a really, really long time, that has been the opposite of my reality, is that I didn't feel like I could speak authentically and I couldn't speak as my authentic self. And since I decided to gamify this and say, okay, but what if I do? The results that I have found within myself are unmatched to any other like logical question. So there's that, which I think is really, really cool. And again, like gamifying meditation, like why not? Why not see what comes through? Could be fun. And then realizing that I can channel messages without the use of tarot, which is really cool. And how I started writing a post out about how those words came through for me in a meditation. And then I suddenly just had this like stream of consciousness, and I got my phone out, got my notes out, and I literally just started typing. And what came up for me was a short that I posted yesterday, and that was literally what was coming through. So I was like typing it as it was coming through. And the biggest thing that stood out to me was just the way that we talk about the heart and soul, and how, it's in music that we hear, and people talk about it in like just off the cuff. We'll say like, oh, I put my heart and soul into this, or, this is a heart and soul led business, or whatever. And I've said this in a previous video before, but like paying attention to language and how you use language is really, really interesting. And again, the synchronicities of talking about how language is significant is also what I'm learning about in this training that I'm doing. So again, synchronicities just lining up for days. But thinking about how it's a heart and soul, you put your heart and soul into something, and actually really tapping into like what that feels like. Because I then had this thought of like, the heart is just pure love and the soul is expansion. And like, so the secret sauce is it coming from a place of love? Do you feel expansive doing it? Because that is the sweet spot of when you do something that you love and it lights you up and it creates this feeling of limitless energy within you. You're onto a winner, whatever that looks like as well. And I'm a firm believer in artistry, whatever medium that comes through in, whether you are a painter, or you write poetry, or you're a singer, you perform, you dance, like, or for me, I feel like a lot of my artistry comes through how I speak. And I do think that it's to do with your creative expression, and that, again, it's talked about in the artist's way, which if you haven't done that, 10 out of 10 would recommend doing the artist's way because it will blow your mind. But to do something that feels so limitless, because, creation and being creative comes from an unlimited space. Like, if you really think about it, to break it down, like, to come up with an idea is to, as people say, pull it out of thin air. Like, you think about how you had an idea for something, maybe, or musicians are a really good one, where they come up with an idea for a song and they're like, it just came to me. Like, what? This is it. This is where being creative and expressing yourself is so expansive. And that's where it feels like the heart and soul live, in this expansive energy of pure expression of love. And I just think that's really, really awesome and cool. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share whilst I drank my coffee, which is delicious. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you like this kind of format of video, I really want to try and just lean into this energy, of just speaking and just free flowing my words, unfiltering my thoughts, just letting it kind of happen. I may or may not have edited me letting the cat out of the room, so just know that if you saw a cut in the video, it's probably because I was letting the cat out of the room. And to just speak in this space, to show real human thoughts, real human ideas that aren't polished, that aren't scripted, that aren't, curated for the best optimization or for the best performance or reach or algorithm, whatever, is to just be a human being right now, having this human experience, and to express oneself in a way that feels free, with no rule book, no confines, no how you should do things. And I just think it's a game. It's just a big old game. Like, why not have fun with it? The resounding feedback, when you're being creative or just living in the human experience, is to play, just have fun. Tap into that energy of when you were a little kid. What is it that you like to do when you were a kid? I personally like to pretend I was a dragon. Why not? Like, that's fun. I don't pretend to be a dragon anymore, but I do like to remember the energy of how free that kid felt when she was pretending to be a dragon. And it was awesome. Like, tapping into that energy, that free energy. So, those are my thoughts today. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you feel like hanging out, feel free to subscribe and hang out. I post content in shorts, I post content, long form content. I sometimes do tarot readings if I feel called to do one. But I'm really excited to see where this journey takes me, takes this collective, and I'm just excited to share more. So, yeah, feel free to hang out if you want to. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Have an amazing day. Bye.